There we go. I said give me 1 second, like as though, oh, there we go. Forgive the random swapping around. Okay, so I'm gonna sum up what I just said, because I really don't want to run through with all that again like the idiot I am. So I've been on a nostalgia trip. This is a redo. This is a new cartridge, one that will actually save. Been on a nostalgia trip. Thanks to Robopon 2 and a few other things. As you can see on the top, actually, right... Whoop, I know where my hands go. Man, I can't angle it right. Right above Nightmare, as he's called now, for our gameplay. Right above his 3 spikes on his right. It says all aboard. That is part of the transformation we will be doing to the channel. I've decided to go with something relatively related to trains, but I can discuss that later. Yeah, I feel really dumb that my thing was muted and pulling from the wrong source. It was pulling from a default source on the system that doesn't really have a mic, whereas this is pulling from my mic that's right here. Forgive the hand in the face. But yeah, I was saying I was on a nostalgia trip. I've got a bunch of other stuff going on with it. I've had a lot of stuff going on with work, including a big thing tomorrow that may reduce my overall hours to stream and make content for you guys to enjoy at any time, which isn't a terrible thing because I keep making a lot of rookie mistakes. So this will give me more time to be able to like record, think, and then go. Make sure everything's set up. I'm in the process of setting up a new computer. I was mentioning also that I have been trying my damnedest to get the Amiibo tournaments recorded for you guys to watch at your own discretion. Make it background noise, whatever. But my capture card unfortunately works with the computer, but not the computer's graphics card. So I'm unable to do anything more with it until I basically swap out both towers, because the tower that I'm playing this on right now, the one that's recording, has no USB 3.0s, which are required, and the other one is too weak of a graphics card. So I'm kind of SOL on that. Welcome to the new viewer. Ah, Jelloman! I recognize that name. It's been a long time, my friend. Thank you for the follow. Just realized that's what that was. But yeah, so I'm working on getting that all mixed together. I'm working on something at work that's going to reduce my pay by this much, but increase my hours by this much. But what I was mentioning before I realized my mic was muted at the start of this video was I've been on a Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon kick, because technically Story of Seasons is just remastering Harvest Moon games with updated things. So it's not just a graphical polish, it's a whole new thing set on the same story as the original one. So if you've played like Friends of Mineral Town Story of Seasons, there's also Harvest Moon Story of Seasons that came out ages before. The team split from what I can tell, and there's one team that's still making Harvest Moon games that aren't doing as good, and the team that's doing Story of Seasons is doing way better. And I think it's in part, in all honesty for me, just the images, like the classic Harvest Moon feel comes from Story of Seasons now, whereas the new Harvest Moon is graphically different, and they've tried to make it a lot more in depth. So, but anyways, let's get back to this. So, as mentioned while on mute and a little bit at the start of this, I have tried to play this multiple times on the YouTube channel, and it's not worked because the cartridges are bust due to the save data battery not working anymore, which is a problem with the old Game Boy cartridges. Well, I'm going to try to blaze through most of this early stage stuff as fast as I can. Whoop, that is definitely not the right key. Kind of like that. Alright. Yeah, so I'm gonna go through this as fast as I can. That's why I turned on the sped up okay, I was about to say, if I didn't grab it, I'm an idiot. Just go and do this as fast as we can, try to get back to where I was, because the last time I played, I had made it into Viridian Forest, or outside of Viridian Forest after catching a bunch of Pokemon. So, I'm going to try to get back to that point. Ugh. Excuse me. I'm gonna lower the volume on my end for this so it's not playing through both the mic and the desktop. I do believe Pokebank to Pokehome is still a functioning feature. Can't guarantee that. But I do feel that it is a still active feature. Simply because so many people have so many Pokemon in Pokebank. And there's no way to transfer out of it, so I think they might be keeping that one around. At least I feel like they would. But then again, you never know. It'll be around forever while supplies last. Yep, sounds about right. Sounds about right. Sorry, doing a little bit of work there. Oh, they said they will get rid of it? Dude. That means that I've got to transfer a cubic butt ton of Pokemon out of that myself, and my 3DS is currently non-functional. Gotcha. Okay, that gives me time at least to try to get that taken care of. Gotcha. I used to keep up on that a lot better when I worked for GameStop. I haven't kept as up on that since I've stopped working for GameStop. Yeah, they usually are. If I can find my old cable, I can just plug it in. I've got an outlet right next to me that I can plug it into and just quick transfer and then be like, alright, you're screwed, you're done, game over, get out, be gone. Good day, sir. So that way I can make sure to transfer all that over and then just retire it with a bunch of my other retired consoles. Oh, one other thing that I don't think got brought up in this is I do have a cable that allows my GameCube, N64, and Super NES to all be captured through my capture card. It's an HDMI upgrade. It, for some reason, doesn't work with my little gaming TV monitor that I have over here. But it works with the capture card onto the computers. So I might be able to play some of the old Super NES and N64 games as well as some GameCube games on this channel, including the Harvest Moon one that I was talking about earlier. None of that is important stuff. I wish it would go away. Oh, right. Hang on, Gary's got to throw me across the room. Two Gens really had it where you got your butt handed to you by your rival. Because in this one, Gary pushes you. It's not so much in red, blue, yellow. Or red, blue, and green. I will admit, because in that one he's just like, "Oh, you took that one, I'll take this one." But in yellow version, Gary's like, "Nah, mine." Yeah, some of the equipment for it can be a little expensive. Mine wasn't too bad. It was like $20 on Amazon. And all I did was look up GameCube HDMI adapter, and it was like, oh yeah, the plug works for the Super NES and the N64 as well. Yeah, the main reason I've been going for the capture card is I want to be able to share some of the stuff on my Switch. And then for background noise for people who are interested, people who like to watch like the WWE wrestling stuff, I was going to run Amiibo tournaments where my massive Amiibo collection, which you can find most of, minus some new purchases that have arrived since those videos, on my YouTube channel. In my shorts section, I did some pan-overs. They were supposed to all battle it out. I'm going through 4 new ones for myself right now. King DDD is currently training, and he was losing at first, but now he's doing much better. Alright, I'm gonna keep powering through this. While talking, of course. But, yeah. Yes, I'm actually going to stick with tradition. I know it slows it down, but I'm only going to do it for 2 of them, which now I can actually get one to evolve, because I have the ability to play it on the GameCube, and then I can also, once I get an upgraded or fixed up Game Boy, because my current one is dodgy, I can get a link cable for them, and then just trade them over. Which means I won't have to worry about, oh no, can't get... My brain just shut off. Excuse me as I adjust my clothes. My shirt's a little tight and it's a little warm in here. But I can get like Machamp, Alakazam, and Gengar. Why was I struggling with that? That's my favorite freaking Pokemon. Alright, 1 second, I'll be right back. I gotta go turn off the space heater. I have the be right back screen, but I figured this wouldn't take too long. Excuse me, sorry. I had lunch a little while ago. Technically breakfast for me. Night shift life. Yeah. Okay. Unbelievable. I picked the wrong Pokemon from the one that was on the table. That was supposed to be yours. And then I got launched, then I launched you into orbit for. Drinking that because the drink that I got with my lunch was flat and, basically nothing but flat carbonated water, so it still had all the carbonation taste. But no pop, no sizzle, and no flavor. So I haven't gotten it since, but on the first playthrough on the YouTube channel, you can actually see I got the Pikachu here to dislike me. Because I technically lost that fight. To Gary. Sorry, I'm adjusting things. I know I probably shouldn't on live, but just still working things out, working out a few little bugs and kinks here and there. But I lost the fight to Gary, so if you check the YouTube channel, which this video will be going into through my YouTube streaming as noted here. The first video will have me losing to Gary, complaining about it, and then the Pikachu having the skull over its head, which I talked about as a kid. I thought it was the Pikachu actually electrocuting you, because every time I got it, I was standing here. But standing right here, you can get it too, and the skull just appears above the Pikachu's head because the Pikachu wishes you were dead. Because not only does it not like you or being in a Pokeball, it just... you lost, so now it thinks you're an even bigger loser. Hilarious, I know. I've been working hard on organizing my song list because I have on iTunes a good chunk of the Pokemon game music because they have the albums on iTunes. And I've been organizing it for the D&D that I've talked about a couple times. Because I gotta figure out how to do it. You know, exactly how it's all going. I've changed up my story a couple times. But yeah, I've been trying my darndest to work on all that. I don't need the Pokemon Center. But, yeah. It's been, pretty interesting trying to get everything done. Been exhausted over the last few days as well, just because life's hitting hard. Big changes potentially coming up at work for me. Gonna have a full, big old discussion with some people at work for the upcoming changes. Hopefully things go well and I get to go where I want to go and where I want to be. And I'll be able to do more of the things that I love while I'm there. Yeah, take that, Pidgey. Gotta go deliver Oak his whatever. I love that some of the audio, like, does just kind of get stuck in a loop. Or not audio, but the text is left over from red, blue, and green. Because, like, right there, how is my old Pokemon doing? That applies to the original 3 games, where Oak gave you one of his last 3 remaining Pokemon, whereas in this one, you went into the grass and Oak was like, no, don't think so, not happening. And caught the Pikachu, and that's about all the connection he has to it. Although it would have been funny to see Gary get stuck with Pikachu, because Pikachu only respects Ash in the show because Ash is at least somewhat decent. Gary would have probably been like, get this thing away from me. But yeah, okay, come on. I actually used to have the toy Pokedex a long time ago. Chair keeps sliding. But yeah. I'm out. Gotta go get a town map. If I need to take a break, I'll probably just let the game music play, since Pokemon music is classic. Just because I've used a lot of Thunder Shocks, might as well get the stuff for it. Chansey just sitting there, menacingly. There's just something funny about the way that the Pikachu walks. Or not funny, but like kind of adorable. And there we go. Yeah, the little footies walking around there. Little tiny mousy feet just going flap, flap, flap. Bam. Time to get me a Pidgey. Item. Pokeball. Toss. Because I know I can get Mankey, Nidoran, male and female. I forget where to get Spearow in yellow, but I know you can get Spearow. I don't need another Pidgey, I need a Rattata. Oh, man. Oh. Oh. Ow. Oh. Wrist. Oh man. Every so often I forget, like, how spoiled we are with modern Pokemon games. The ability to just instantly throw a Pokeball from the menu. The automatic experience share across the whole party that you can turn on or off. So you can just, like, throw your level 40 up in the front and run through spots and get a bunch of XP for your, like, level 5s. Whereas in this game, if you wanted that, you have to give it one at a time. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. There we go. I remember my first playthrough for this, I stopped here and showed off the secret Pikachu dance. And then my second playthrough, I stopped outside of Viridian Forest with both Nidorans, Rattata, Athena here, and Pidgey. The first time I was naming them all fancy names after like Greek mythology and fables and reality and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just kind of sticking with some of the basics right now. Things that have stuck with me since my childhood. Wow. Close, but not quite. Might as well just try to get some experience, and if I need the help, I can swap out for another Pokemon. I knew Spearow was in this game. I had a hell of a time finding it last time. Spearow's my favorite flyer between it and Pidgey. Sorry, excited twitches makes the monitor wobble. Boy, that's a good hit. That was 6 damage. Back. Forgot how much the audio gets cut out too when your Pokemon's wounded for this gun. But limited processors, limited capability, all that fun stuff. Ow. Right, down we go. Time to go heal. The only things that I'm missing from that spot over there are Mankey and Nidoran male. I think there's enough Moonstones in the game to get Nidoran male, female, and Clefable and Jigglypuff. I hope there are. I know the one I'm going to have the hardest time with is, I might try to get that Pidgeotto just in case, just cause. But I don't know if I'll be able to for sure. But I'm gonna give it a shot. Let's see. Gotta get me the Mankey. Look at those little feet. It's just so adorable. Gotta do Mankey, level up, Nidoran male. Thank you for showing up. Beat Gary, and then I'm gonna go to Viridian Forest this time. Because last time I just kind of bypassed this whole area. Oh, excuse me. Well, that was a good... No. Yes. Who's that? Legit now missing the Mankey. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. It's even gonna show up in the Pokemon D&D as like the one-off kind of a thing. I don't know why I walked around when I needed to leave. Another level 3 Rattata. Well, now you see it. Now you switch. At least this way Rattata gets some experience towards evolving. Oh. Ugh. And boom. Even as a kid, especially today as an adult, it just always weirds me out how they're like, oh, we got your Pokemon back to perfect health. We hope to see you again. Because it's like, you want me to come back to the hospital because... What? Like, I get they'd rather have you come back to the hospital than not come back for much sadder reasons, but, like, it still feels like a phrase that's awkward. Ugh. Mankey! Oh, God. That was a bad hit. Swap this one. Get it with the Pokeball. I'm glad they finally made reference in the newest game to Infernape? Wrong Pokemon. Mankey. And its final stage where they talk about for Primeape, it can get so angry that it straight up dies. One of the newest Pokemon is that after effect for those who haven't played yet. If you have, then you know. But it's always good. Yep, Annihilate. Parody of Annihilate and an ape, of course. But yeah, it's... brain shut down temporarily. It's referenced in... I don't remember if it was Yellow specifically, but I know it's Gen 1. Yeah, you're not missing much, but you're missing some pretty good stuff. Without creating a regional variant, they did a pretty good job of creating, like, stuff that makes sense for a region, rather than just, it's Meowth, but now it's black. Or it's Meowth, but now it's a Viking. Some of the stuff is, like, pretty obviously meant as a regional variant, but I like the idea that certain Pokemon can only get those evolutions in certain locations, not making them a regional variant, but a regional exclusive, and I think that's a better system, personally. Such as Girafarig can finally evolve as long as it's in... I forgot the name of the region now. For not Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, Girafarig has an evolution. Annihilate, finally we can be seen And like even the starters feel more like something that's more regional than free roaming kind of a thing. Because the Sprigatito, first off, the name comes off as Spanish, and that's where it's supposed to be. That's where Paldea, that's what it is. Paldea is supposed to be like Pokemon Spain, and Sprigatito, first off, with a name like that, it's very obviously Spanish, but it turns into like a masquerade ball partaker with like Magician's Act type stuff, and it's pretty good. Quaxley is very much like a mix between a flamenco dancer and a sailor. And then Fuecoco, which is the starter I picked, evolves into basically a Pokemon Reaper while also being themed to a chili pepper. And it's each one of them gets a special attack exclusive to them for being starters. And welcome to the other viewer who just joined in. Thank you for popping in. And they're gone. Never right as I say it. It's alright, though. It happens. People come in, take a look, go, not for me. We it has like a little, its second stage has like a little sombrero with an egg on top, and then the final stage has like the hair, and it's got a skull. It looks really cool. I know a lot of people out there are like, oh, it's not the same anymore because it's not pure. It's like, looking at a lot of these Pokemon, I feel like the company, as much as I love them, I feel strongly that Pokemon has never really like focused on creating something pure and perfect, because if they did, there'd be no more needed because it's already there. All they can do is learn from it, and there's stuff that other games do, which I mentioned during my Robopon playthrough, that they could do better, and stuff that they're doing better than other people. And I just think that it's one of those things where, of course, nobody's ever going to be able to do everything that everybody wants, because there's some features that I probably love in these games that other people are going to look at me and go, why would you like that? But then they're going to like something that I think is completely pointless. Something that I'm glad they did starting in Gen 2 onwards was right underneath the Pokemon's name on your side of the screen, you can see how much experience points it had, so you don't have to stop, go into your inventory, and check the Pokemon individually to see 89 out of 195. It would just show up there and whoop, right underneath them. And I think that that's fantastic. Instead of having to do this. 39 to level 5. Okay, moving on. And having to go like that. I liked having that, because then it goes into battle and it's like, But yeah, some of the games have been really good. Some of the games have been, what are you doing? Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu is like the third or so restart for Kanto. Because, yeah, we have red, blue, green, and yellow. And then Fire Red, Leaf Green, Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu. So yeah, it's been three times that they've started this. And Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu are my least favorite of the Kanto games. Because, like, I get what they were going for, but it makes it so much harder to work towards. I have an easier time leveling up my Pokemon in this one, where it's designed for grinding, because they didn't have the ability to put in as much content as they would have wanted, because it would have been too much, or, because it's the early stages, they weren't even sure it's going to work. Then I've had an easier time dealing with that than I did the level up system in Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, because in Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, you level up by catching wild Pokemon without being able to battle them. So you can't just beat the crap out of it like this. You have to catch it, and you get experience points. And if you catch 5 of them in a row, you get a small boost, and then another 5, another small boost, so on and so forth. And I get it. For some people, that's a thing that's really cool and really fun, and it's really easy for them. And hey, maybe it's because you got little kids in the house and they can't, this is too old for them. Great, not my thing. Oh. This is the way that I like to play Pokemon, but I'm not going to sit here and tell people they're wrong. Yeah. Oof. Big oof. Boy, these Minkies are kicking my Pokemon's butts. Swap to Spearow. I almost called the Spearow Serena because I saw Spearow and Athena and my brain just went click. But yeah, it's really weird how it works. And like I said, if you got really little ones that are like, I like Pokemon, I have Amiibo, they're like that stage of childhood development, totally get it. My 12-year-old plays these games. My 2-year-old watches me play these games and goes, it fight. And my 1-year-old just sits there and goes, bah. If they wanted to try playing when they got a little older, I'd put on Let's Go Eevee or Let's Go Pikachu for them. Because it makes sense. Let's see. Rattata is now level 4. And still does not have great health. There we go. My favorite organization. Who's the highest level, and then who has the most HP? Who has me HP? I'm a little tired. I don't know if it's obvious or not, but I'm a little tired. But yeah, these systems are what they are. I know Legends Arceus was really really popular, and I saw. Oh, Sam, I'm being tired. Yeah, no, I get it. Legends Arceus was really popular, and I liked a lot about it, getting to see the first layers of the Pokedex, and the idea that maybe people in Pokemon can work together, and seeing how uncommon it was, and the fact that Pokemon are so used to people being around and being afraid of them that they're willing to straight up attack you as an individual, not just your Pokemon, you as a person. The idea of being a trainer was only for these elite, scary, powerful few. I liked that. It was cool seeing Pokemon World History, and we're gonna get a new one with. Oh god, I almost went with the fake name that people were hoping for, which was that it was going to be Pokemon Legends Celebi. They were hoping it would be like Johto in the ancient days. But it's going to be X and Y. And it's called Pokemon Z to A. Pokemon Legends Z to A. And you basically help, from what it looks like, you're going to be in there at the time that Lumiose City is first being built. So no big tower, none of that. It looks super cool to me, but I love history. I'm a history nerd. I know people out there who are like, this is dumb. I don't need this. I just want, let me just do things the proper way. And it's like, if that's your thing, enjoy your thing. Once again, experience working at GameStop. Not speaking on behalf of GameStop. I will never speak on behalf of GameStop unless they pay me a hell of a lot more than they used to. In other words, manager or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, no, some of the Pokemon in Arceus are like, dear God. The memes that I've seen are that one, and then the ones, of course, that have to do with the more adult nature, with the oversized Gardevoir. Yeah, that one's a good play. Let's Go, if you want to skip the Let's Goes, you're not missing much. If you've played Red, Blue, Yellow, or Green, if you've been able to find it, you know pretty much what's going to happen with Let's Go. It's the same thing. The one thing I will say that is neat about it, though, is the Pikachu you get in Let's Go Pikachu and the Eevee you get in Let's Go Eevee are not shinies, but they're not normal ones either. Plus, the data from both of those works in Sword and Shield, and you can get a Gigantamaxed Pikachu and a Gigantamaxed Eevee early on in the game. So you get the special editions. They can't evolve no matter what. Thunderstone doesn't work on either of them. Neither do the rest of the stones or locations for the Eevee. But the Gigantamax Pikachu turns into the classic Pikachu, like the plush I always keep here. So it looks just like this. And the Eevee just gets a really big fluffy collar. A lot of fun having that. And then in the remake for Diamond and Pearl, I don't think you get anything for them, but depending on what other game data you have in your system for the other Switch games, you can get... If you've played one of those, you can get Mew. And then if you've played Sword and Shield, you get something else. And there was a way to get, and I think it's gone now, I'm not totally sure on this, but there was a way, which I have on my copies on my Switch, to get Manaphy and Fione at the start of the game. I just don't remember how to do it. And then with the newest ones, Scarlet and Violet, you get to pick your, legacy. Do you go with the Future Tech guy or the Primordial girl? And it just changes which legendary you have. Do you have the Cyberpunk one or the Flintstones one, basically? And then all the Pokemon that come out at you from part of the game, the specialty ones, they're either high-tech in Violet or low-tech primeval versions of themselves in Scarlet. Which some people have taken and looked at and messed with, and it's like, hey, if you look at it like this and then backtrack it a couple steps and then bring it back forward, all of a sudden Pokemon B looks just like or this Pokemon could go and translate into this other Pokemon. And so people have started making full genealogy trees for Pokemon and stuff like that. That means that most of the crocodiles are probably from the same ancestor. So Totodile, Salandit, Fuecoco, not Salandit, Sandile, and all of their evolutions are all coming from the same starter point, and then it just kind of breaks and then goes. And I was like, that's not bad. That's not bad actually. But I would recommend for playing them, play them in the order that they were released, so you get the most benefit out of, playing through the games. It makes it a lot easier to get the most out of the games. And of course, the stories don't really intersect much. It's not like if you don't play Sword and Shield, you're not going to understand anything in Scarlet and Violet. That's England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, and then Spain. Two completely different territories. There's a few references that happen in that one where it's like, oh yeah, I came all the way over here from Galar. Or Geller. I don't know how to pronounce it. But I came from all the way over there, and it's so weird seeing a Weezing that isn't a fairy. It's because Weezing has a localized evolution that makes it look like an old-timey business tycoon with a giant top hat, and then it's spewing out toxic smoke, and it's now Poison Fairy. So, you know, oh, I should swap out Rattata. It doesn't help with that kind of stuff. It just helps you with, like, oh, I've played this game, so now I can get this bonus item. I've played this game, so I can get this bonus thing. The same thing within Scarlet and Violet. You can get specialty, because you have a phone, a Rotom phone. Yeah, it looks like Doug Dimmadome for one of the Weezings, one of the Weezing heads. Looks just like Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. Wrong buttons. But yeah, it's it just gets you little extra beneficial items. So like I was saying before the comment, and then noticing that I did the wrong thing. You get a phone. You get a Rotom phone in Scarlet and Violet. That Rotom phone's case changes depending on what you want it to be. You can choose it, but if you play if you've played the Eevee and Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, you get a specialty phone case for Eevee and Pikachu. You've played Scarlet and Violet, you get, or not Scarlet and Violet, Sword and Shield, you get a specialty phone case for that. You've played through Arceus, you get the Arceus phone case from the Legend of Arceus game. And then if you've played through the Diamond and Pearl remakes, you get another specialty case. So it's stuff like that. And I think that that's a really great way to get people to keep coming back to your games, because it's like, oh, what can I get in this new game that references this older game that I loved so much? But you know, it is what it is, and if that's not your thing and you're not worried about that, then hey, do what makes you happy on that. But that's my personal recommendation for it. I am hoping the company that makes the thing that's reading this cartridge right now, I'm hoping that they'll eventually do one for DS and 3DS games. Just because it'd be fun. They did talk about for a while doing one that reads N64, NES, and Super NES as 3 separate slots or 3 separate units. I think it'd be cool to have a big all-encompassing, all-in-one built unit where it's all working at the same time. But I also know that's, you know, power drain and stuff like that. Got to do what you can, kind of a thing. But I do think it would be fun to be able to play more retro stuff like this. Because it's really hard, to find the parts to play it properly. Because for the most part, you can get people to build, like, you can get on Etsy, I've seen at least 4 or 5 different shops that build custom Game Boys and custom Game Boy Advances, custom Game Boy Advance SPs, custom DSs, things like that. They'll build it for you from scratch because it's so much more expensive to get the authentic device. Like, when I was looking to replace my cartridges, originally I was trying to go for originals because of just, you know, the nostalgia, the memories. They're so pricey. One copy of Crystal was going for $300. That's more than, like, most of my computer setup. That is more than I spent on my desk, speakers, 3 monitors, and flight stick that I have. It's not up right now, but throttle's over here. Flight stick's currently on the floor because it's not working. But yeah, that's more than all that combined for one cartridge. Whereas on Etsy, I got all of Gen 1 and all of Gen 2 for like maybe $100. Maybe. It's just... I mean, I get it. I understand payments, values going up and down. Like I said, I used to work for GameStop. I've worked retail most of my life. And I totally get how the market works. They're going to put it in, if it's an active product, they're going to put it in the median for demand. Yeah. Yeah, everything has its prices. Everything has a price and everything has a value. And one of the biggest things with it is, like, to one person, one item may be insanely valuable. To another, it's nothing. Which is what makes selling and buying so hard to work with. Because some people would look out there and be like, I wouldn't pay $5 for that crap. But another person would gladly pay $300 to get an original crystal. And it's just insane the amount that people are willing to pay. Like, even for me, with how much I love a lot of this stuff, I can only afford so much because I have my house to take care of and things like that. I've got stuff that I gotta pay outside of that. And even when I was working 2 jobs, I was not making the kind of money it took to get most of that stuff. Or at least not to the level that they were trying to get me to take it to, or to purchase it at. So being able to get, like, super cheap the first 4 games of Pokemon, and then for a slightly higher price, I got a few knockoff games. I've got one that finally shipped. I've got 2 here. And then I've got the Gold Silver Crystal, with Crystal currently in the GameCube since it doesn't work on this reader here. And that means that I can also do the Silver and Gold Reforged on it, on the GameCube as well. It just, is so much cheaper to get all of those than it is to get, like, one. Yeah, that's another thing. That's a fantastic thing, too. I've seen people try to sell Super Mario Kart 64 cartridges for $300 as just the cartridge with a peeled label, and then I've seen them get sold, which is insane to me. I've seen people sell a brand new in-box saran-wrapped Mario Kart 64, Super Mario Kart 64, for the same price. And I'm like, that's a much better deal because you're getting the full package for that. It's just, I keep forgetting to swap this Pokemon. Because now Nidorann's at level 6. Ugh, gotta start paying attention. But, it's just like... Some of it is insanely priced. Like, for example, I bought another one of these for one of my kids because this is my original. I've had this since the 90s when the first movie came out. I have distinct memories of how I got this. It is that important to me. To me, that is an incredibly valuable item. I'll get on the repros as soon as I'm done with this quick thought process here. I would pay an insane amount. In all honesty, I would pay an insane amount to keep this one alive if I had to. I went on eBay because one of my kids was trying to steal it. I found it on eBay for $25. To me, that was insanely low for this plush. Classic Pikachu plush from basically the Pokemon the First Movie product wave, separate from the product line, but from the same wave of items released by Tommy. Still within the Pokemon IP, just show versus movie. And Absolutely, absolutely. To me, it was mind-bogglingly low, so I snatched it up. She played with it for 3 days, and now it's in a closet. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I have 2 out. As far as repros go, I don't honestly mind them. I did think it was dumb when I was younger. I'm like, just go get the real thing. But when I was younger and thinking that, I wasn't working a job. I wasn't dealing with my own finances. I didn't have taxes, insurance, gas to put in a car, transit to and from work. But the cartridge I'm playing right now is a reproduction. I have red, blue, and green, all reproduction cartridges with green translated to English. I have gold, silver, crystal, all reproduction. I mean, the crystal's blatantly a reproduction, to be completely honest. Because no bulge, nothing. It's just the see-through plastic case. Ruby, sapphire, emerald, fire red, leaf green, all behind my secondary monitor. All reproductions. They're cheaper. Same programming, same coding, everything. They're just cheaper for these older games. I do feel if you're going to be reproducing games on for this, excuse the noise that just came from it. I totally forgot that D2D is training right now. These games already exist. Odds are your reproduction is going to cost about the same as getting it brand new or getting it digital market. Probably not the time. But if you're going to repro, perfect example, I've got these coming. I don't know if they're authentic or reproduction yet. Don't really care either way. I've got 2 of the 3 Game Boy Harvest Moons coming. I was supposed to get 3, but the third one, they ran out of stock, and we're in the process of getting more, so that leads me to believe they're reproductions. I can't find a Harvest Moon case for a cartridge for Game Boy that's authentic most anywhere, and that upsets me a little bit because I as I think I mentioned earlier, or it might have been when my mic was wonky, I love Harvest Moon, and I love the new Story of Seasons, basically recreating the old Harvest Moon games, updated graphics, improved quests, improved communication with people in game. Stuff like that. I love it. I love it. But sometimes it's hard to find because they're just nobody's selling them. Not necessarily that nobody has them. Nobody's selling them. Because I have a couple authentic games coming too. One of them, I bought it for $2.19, and it's a Gundam game. And it's an authenticated cartridge, everything, imported from Japan. Wouldn't move. Nobody cared for it because it's not a great Gundam game. It's just a game. And yeah, there's other cartridges because I have imported copies of Mickey Mouse 1 and 2. Yeah, and that's another way that that's the only other way you'll find them low price. I actually got a Fallout 4 Special Edition Pip-Boy because somebody was cleaning out their kid's closet who went off to college and just didn't get rid of anything. So mom was like, alright, well, I need space. So I got it. They usually sell for $200-300. I got it for less than $20 because I don't need it. I was like, alright, if you insist. And I snatched it up. But yeah, no, like it's very much either they're not being sold because they're too well loved, and it's hard for other people to get them now because the originals are dying out. Or if they're being sold cheap, people are paranoid because they don't know what condition it's in, they don't know who's owned it, and like you said, the area I live in, there's almost always garage sales going on, and you can find some pretty cool stuff for pretty good prices. But yeah, sometimes you get really lucky, and other times you look through stuff and you're like, "There's nothing here of value," or it's overpriced. One of the yard sales I went to nearby, person was selling a Lego set, and because it's Lego, they were trying to sell it for $60. The set on release was $20. Yeah, no, they snatch it up. When I worked for the Walt Disney Company the first time, I had to deal with that a lot. Resellers are honestly not only a nightmare for you, the consumer, but as someone who's worked through multiple special events. Yeah, exactly. From having worked multiple special events for multiple companies, I'm not going to pull anything in particular out just because I don't want to be speaking on behalf of any of those companies, because it's not my place to. But I've seen so many people come up and they will max out the amount they can get as an individual, but their friend who lives at a different house and a different address than them but came in with them also buys the same amount. And as soon as they walk out the door of your store, they just automatically, "Here you go, man," because they don't even care about it themselves. It's disheartening. It's frustrating and it's disheartening because it's like I've seen so many kids, especially kids, which is where it pisses me off the most, that come in and go, "Do you have anything left of object X, Y, or Z?" "No, sorry, they all sold out at the start of the day." "Oh, okay. Do you know if anyone else has them?" And we check the system, or we tell them, "The last batch I brought out myself." There have been several occasions where I've had to say that, where people go out and they buy them up, and I bring out the last batch, and no sooner have I sealed up my my transit system, my trolley, my cart, whatever I'm using, no sooner have I sealed it up from them going out than the last one is being carried away. It is insane. I have had people try to bribe me, and that's the other thing, as an employee that's dealing with that. Like, as a guest, it sucks to deal with the fact that they're gone. As an employee, when it's a hot ticket item like that, even if I want it, odds are I can't have it. Unless there are leftovers at the end of a week. Depending on the place, it can take a week to a month. If they're still there, I can then pick one up for myself. Otherwise, I'm not allowed. Not in the slightest. I've worked I've worked 2 console launches in my time at GameStop. Tons of game launches. Great example from the guest perspective for me that I'm willing to talk about. My local GameStop only got 1 Sora amiibo, and that's because I pre-ordered it. One of my former coworkers there saw it in the back and was like, "I want to buy this right now before anyone else can get it." And because it was pre-ordered, he couldn't touch it. Because I had pre-ordered it, he couldn't touch it. And it's the only one they got in stock. And it's the only one they'll have until Sora becomes so regularly out there and available at the GameStops that you could just pick it up. Otherwise, he and anyone else that walk into that particular GameStop are SOL for getting Sora. But it's always worse to me when I see the kids, because the company sends out 50,000 units a day for like 5 days before the item drops, and they can't pick it up because some dude on eBay wants to sell their $50 item for $600. Or like the PS5 launch, there was a guy in New York took a photo that he of like a floor-to-ceiling stack of PS5s. Said, "You know you want it, you know I've got it. $1,000 minimum. Discless, 1,400 minimum disc, special edition, inquire. Those consoles were going for $600 or $750. If my memory serves from the launch time of that. $600 discless, $750. And he wanted $1,000 minimum for the discless. So a $400 profit. And then a almost doubled profit for with a disc. And if it was a special edition, it doesn't cost that much more than the disc version. Or discless version, depending on which one you get. And it was probably going to be a lot more. So this guy's got tons of these consoles. No one else can play them. Because no one else can afford to pay that much, first of all. You know, that was like, what, right before or right after COVID? Yeah, that was right after COVID. That was right after the first wave of COVID. And, you know, people didn't have money. People didn't have supplies or materials. But they were stuck with it anyways. And that's the way that they were comfortable with. It was insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah. Yep. You know, fuck it. I'm gonna give some great examples just because I don't work for the company anymore, so I can talk all about it all I want. We had at GameStop so many limits that we, as associates, had to put on these things. Simply because people were doing stuff. It was during the end days of COVID, and it still applies today, for the most part, depending on the store. We had to stop people from buying Pokemon cards. We had to put such strict limits on Pokemon cards, you would think they were made of gold. I had a guy who came in and showed me his transaction record, proudly, that he bought almost, I think it was $7,000 worth of Pokemon cards. $7,000 worth of Pokemon cards. Between blind bags, collector's boxes, special edition trainer boxes, and more. And he sold them for an insane profit. And he was like, bro, this is the best business to be in. Yeah, I have them. I have Pokemon cards that I collect still. But I actually collect them for me. Like, I'm building a binder, a Pokedex, for my Pokemon D&D game. And I'm using my Pokemon cards for it. Whatever cards I have spare, they sit in boxes. If I ever go to a con with a friend or family member as a vendor, I'll probably just prop them up there and be like, here's a rough estimation of how much I care. And sell them. Probably dirt cheap. Sell through them real fast, too, because people are going to be like, oh, you're losing out on big bucks. I don't care. Like, I'd rather sell them to kids. Honestly, I'd probably sit there, and if there's a kid that comes up, I'd be like, hey, yo, you want some Pokemon cards? I got you. How much you got? I got $5. That'll get you this block because I like you. But yeah, dude bought $7,000 worth, sold half of it, and got like almost $30,000 back. And I'm just like, why are they so valuable? Like, what about it? I get it for like older stuff, like with the reproductions and stuff that we were talking about before for games. Like, I get that when they're older and no longer in production, they have a lot of value because they're no longer in production. You can't change that, because if you do a new line, it's a new line. But that's still not the right spot. It's just, I mean, it still shows up frequently in markets today. I did a quick holiday stint for the Lego store. If you enjoy fast-paced sales positions, highly recommend it. If you enjoy good discounts on Legos as an associate, highly recommend it. Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally feel that, like, if you're doing it for yourself. And that's the key thing, is doing it for yourself. Hello, new viewer on YouTube. I'm going to greet you when I see you properly this time. Had another viewer show up and walk out, but hey, welcome to the show. We're just discussing the shenanigans of, like, resale and stuff like that. But yeah. It's just, if you're doing stuff for yourself with purchasing these things, that's one thing. I've been dying to get the Animal Crossing sets. This month is my birth month. And wow, another new viewer on YouTube. Hello. Thank you for joining. I've been wanting to get the Animal Crossing sets because I love Animal Crossing. Most of them are back-ordered or just completely sold out and they can't even back-order. And I guarantee you they're going to be popping up. Yeah. Yeah, some resellers that we were talking about earlier, they have a tendency to target for areas that they know are going to be more vulnerable. Such as the estate sales, garage sales, or swap meets. Swap meets too. Alright, I think I'm going to do a little bit more of a loop, and then I'm going to take a quick breather, try to cool down. It's a little warm in the room that I'm in. Probably just be gone maybe 20 minutes tops. Once I guess finish this battle, I'll go to the Pokemon Center and pop up my take a break screen. So don't go anywhere. Don't worry, I will be back. I'm sorry for those who just joined right as I'm going to do that. Oh, perfect. Oh yeah, perfect timing. Let's go heal everybody up, give everybody back to their stats, and then we'll idle with the Pokemon Center music for a little bit, and then I will be right back. Yeah, I forgot on this one it's heal cancel. On the other one it's just really quick before I go. But yeah, no, with like what you were just saying there, Jellyban. Yeah, there's the ones who target the garage and estate sales. Some of those estate sales are indeed company owned, but I went to one estate sale in my neighborhood where basically doctor was getting a divorce from his wife. It was an ugly divorce. He went, nah, her, and undersold everything in the house. Like, he still got a pretty good penny for it because obviously it's expensive stuff, but he got like the bare minimum possible. So I got like a really fancy doctoral like laptop bag for, smaller laptops and a lot of business stuff. I got it for $20. The thing was probably $120 initially. So that can happen too. But yeah, we will continue this reseller discussion in a little bit. I'm going to take a quick break, and I will be back in about 20-ish minutes. All right. See you in a bit. And we are back. Alright, let me do a couple quick little thingy my whatsits here. Do 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 do. Thank you. And then that goes there. That goes there. Alright. So, yeah, that's the other thing too, is like resellers, they'll buy it cheap and sell it for a ton on eBay. I mean, there's still people trying to sell PS5s on eBay for over 1,000, and it's like, they're more readily accessible now. You've really got to compete better. I can understand for like God of War Collector's Edition for God of War Ragnarok not being sold anymore. But a standard PS5 for 1,000 when I can go and get it pretty cheap comparatively. But yeah. Oop. Oof, excuse me. So, I was noticing the Pikachu is doing a little twirly here, but I forgot that is technically something that Pikachu will just do on its own. The little Easter egg that I was talking about earlier, that's in the first and second video, will be in this one too. If you watch Pikachu, after a little while it starts dancing. Because it's impatiently waiting to come down the cliff. Anyways, given my Pokemon's levels, it is time to go and fight Nightmare, our rival. I did mention earlier, or I tried to mention earlier on the video, I forgot to fix that because that was part of the muted section. Up at the top there, it says all aboard and welcome. That's because I'm in the process of doing an eventual name change to fit a more non-specific but still like notable theme, so that I don't run the risk of what's been happening on occasion with different things and different companies, because some people are just ready to go and others are like, hey man, you like that? Cool, have fun. So that's that side. That's part of, way up there, is part of the start of that. This theming that I have right now, and I'm actively doing at this moment, it's not going away. This is going to be specifically for Pokemon games, Pokemon knockoff games, including the like 2 modded versions I have here, as well as the third one that's on its way, and the other one where it's still a Pokemon game, but it's a modded Pokemon game, and even things like the Robopon games that are on my channel previously as well, because it's a similar enough game type where it's a creature catcher and creature collector. So all of those kind of games are going to be here. Anything that I personally feel matches that will be in here as well. I have a hybrid game somewhere. I think it's in my Game Boy Advance, because I was testing it out and seeing if it would be something fun. And while I don't understand a lot of it because I'm not as big on the series, it is a Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh! Hybrid where you play through Fire Red and Leaf Green, but a lot of the characters and stuff like that and the Pokemon have been replaced with Yu-Gi-Oh's monsters. So instead of it being like, here's my card, I play my card, it's more like, haha, I've captured it and cast it out. They still have the cards, but it's like I cast it out of the card. So, you know, that's pretty cool. All of that kind of stuff is going to be on here. Same thing with the Duel Masters game that I have for my Game Boy Advance. And if I'm able to get my capture card working and able to get it to work with live streaming, those will probably be on here as well. But yes, so with the scalper stuff, Oh man, he's got a level 9 Sparrow. I was not prepared. It's okay. I can always swap to Athena should Nidoran female go down, which she most likely will. You know, the people will snatch up however much they can, whenever they can. They'll use whatever methods they can to do it. When I was at GameStop, we had such strict limitations for what people could and could not grab, and what they could and could not do. And it was because countless times with events, because something was worded wrong or designed improperly, other people got screwed over. Another time, one of my earlier stints at GameStop with my first GameStop team, we were there for Christmas, one of the first major Christmases with Fortnite. I think it was like their first or second Christmas event that they did. One of the items you could get was a specialty pickaxe called the Minty Pickaxe. And in order to get it... Whoops. Oh. In order to get it, you had to go into a GameStop and buy Fortnite items valued over a certain amount. I think it was like $35. Now on the surface level that sounds like, oh yeah, walk in, buy two $10 action figure kits and the $15 structure booster, and you're good to go. And yeah, that was something you could do. However, it wasn't programmed that way. It was programmed really stupidly. So if you got that and then got a Nerf gun for $40, you now have two Minty Pickaxes. Because that's over $70, which is $35 plus $35. Every $35 spent on Fortnite got you items. We had people getting hundreds of dollars of Fortnite items at the start of the night, not realizing that. And well, I mean, you can see where that goes. I was clocking in for a closing shift. It was one of the few times I got put for an 8-hour shift. Because it was in part my job to assist with resetting the store for the upcoming holiday sales. Which means I would be helping to close down the store for the night, taking down the old sticker price tags, putting on the new ones, sliding in the new deals, sliding in the new discounts, hanging the posters from the ceiling. It was me and two others that would do that for our store. And while taking care of all of that, I'm also doing my standard shift stuff, which is, of course, you know, making sales, stocking shelves, it's answering the phone. I got relegated to phone duty because we had both registers going, and we already had one of the seasonal hires on the floor. Doing exactly what the seasonal hires do. Watching people, making sure that nothing shady goes down. Counting how many people are in the store, because even though this was like long before COVID, we still had a small store, so 35 people can fill up a small space pretty fast. And that doesn't even include us employees. So I'm on phone duty. I'm answering both lines, because every GameStop technically has 2 lines that can be answered. At least every GameStop that I've interacted with directly. Can't speak for all of them across the country, but the one I worked in, as well as the other ones in our area, sure enough, had that. I answered the phone, and before I could even start my routine, one of my managers tells me if it's about the mini pickaxe, they're already sold out. They sold out within the first 3 hours of the store opening. Mind you, I'm clocking in at like 2 in the afternoon. No, 4 in the afternoon. They sold out within 2 hours of the store opening at 9:30 that morning. And I said, okay, did the spiel over the phone, and said, how can I help you today? If you've ever called a GameStop, you already know the spiel. I don't want to go through it. Ended with, how can I help you today? Young kid's voice. Do you have any more of the minty pickaxes available? I said, no, they've all sold out within the first couple hours of the store opening. I got cussed out by a miner for not saving him a minty pickaxe when everyone and their mother was doing what they could to get the pickaxe. And because people found out about that little loophole, they were all gone. I went home after that, and the next morning I had an opening shift. Totally legal, within the 8-hour parameter that everybody, has to worry about, especially in the state I live in. And they were already being sold. This item that was valued at $35 of other merchandise was getting sold for $50 starting bids on eBay. Some of them were climbing into the hundreds for a digital pickaxe. This isn't a complaint against Fortnite, because if you check my YouTube channel, you will see I have some videos of me and my brother-in-law just doing some Fortnite stuff, sometimes goofing off. One of the sequences I wish I'd caught was us both as clone troopers, and while we were in a tent grabbing supplies, we each grabbed the DC blaster rifle, and an Anakin broke down the tent, and he and I both started screaming, "Execute Order 66," as we murdered Anakin with his lightsaber. Hilarious time. Not the main point. I don't have an issue with Fortnite. I did back then because of a lot of stuff like that kid, young kids, younger than, but probably about the same age as my son at the time, cussing me out over a digital item, and then people selling that same digital piece of paper, that, like, all you got was a piece of paper. Like a little card. I don't even have anything that looks remotely like it. But, it's the little thin paper or code on the receipt. And, it's just, it was insane. It was insane to me to have a kid cuss me out. And it was insane to me that people were selling it for so much. And you could still find a few of the codes out, because people keep buying them, waiting, and then seeing more of them get used. And then try to resell it again for even more. And it's just this ever-climbing price for an item that, like, people wanted then, but now there's so many other items out there for the game that it doesn't matter. Oh, excuse Excuse me. I mean, amiibos are another great example of that, and I am very, very guilty of amiibo purchasing. Not reselling, but purchasing. I have a lot of amiibos. And I have some duplicates and triplicates. I have one triplicate amiibo. And that is Kirby Meta Knight. Like the Kirby game series Meta Knight, where he's got the sword up in the air. I have 3 of that. For one, I bought when it came out because I wanted it. Second one, I thought I didn't have it, so we got it. Third one came in a 6-pack that had another duplicate amiibo, which was this Marth here. And some of the prices on these amiibos are ridiculous. Pyrrha and Mithra, one that launched not that long ago, is going for $75 on Amazon, 70 plus on eBay, and if you have Mercari, most people aren't selling it for less than, I want to say $55. Yeah, I will say the amiibo collecting, like, if it's your thing, it's your thing. If it's not, it's not. If you really don't feel like a lot of them appeal to you, don't do it. Really don't do it. I'm primarily collecting the amiibos that work with Smash because of my amiibo tournaments. So that unfortunately means, even though I'm not a big fan of the Splatoon series, I feel obligated to get this because this one does work with Smash. And so does this one. And so do the ones from Splatoon 2 that I have. And the ones that came out with Splatoon 1, which is when I tried it, was like, went Splatoon 2, went, no, this isn't for me. I barely like games like this to begin with. I don't know why I keep getting it. So I have a lot of characters that I'm, like, the characters individual, I'm like, about, or I don't even know. Or I didn't learn about until I got the amiibo, like Shulk. Had no idea who that was, but he was an amiibo, so I got him. Which, that's something I'm going to be doing sometime soon, is renaming a lot of them, because a lot of them have names that beforehand were goofy shit for me and my friends. Admittedly goofy shit for me and my friends, and not stuff that would ever be posted online. But now I can send my amiibos off into the universe and have people fight them. I'm also doing this, and plan on doing that with the amiibos. Some of my amiibos are named stupid because I was half asleep. A few of those names I do plan on keeping. Some of them are little nods to things that aren't so bad. At least not in my opinion. I don't think it's anything that I would get somebody coming up to my door going, "You've been served." Yeah. No, a lot of that's another thing you can do too, is the RFID cards. Unfortunately, one of the Kirbys that I have has been so tapped and used, its chip was dying, and I barely managed to move its data over to a secondary puck that it's currently sitting on top of. And I may have to do that because the amiibos have a limit of, like, approximately, I think it's approximately 20 to 25,000 taps. Somewhere in that range is the average. Sometimes it can be more than that, sometimes it can be less. Because RFIDs can't be replaced easily. So you do have to be careful with that. And, yeah, it's just like, if you have the space for them too, that's the other thing, is the space, because they take up a pretty good amount of space. Their bases don't. Nice, small little circle. But I've got to make sure I've got room for his hammer and how far it overhangs that circle. On that side. And then all the way around where he sticks over it. Plus the height. Look at the squid I was just talking about. Here's the edge of the amiibo, and look, there's the side of its head. They're huge. If you can do the cards and you want to do the cards, go for it. Do the cards. For me, I like having the statues. Even if I can't use them anymore, like that Kirby. The Kirby is still in my cabinet of amiibos. But he's sitting on top of the puck that actually contains his data now. Because he died. His RFID inside of the base is dead. It is not usable. I've tried everything. We barely managed to get it to transfer by magnetizing the bottom. Because they said if you're starting to have issues with it, magnetize the bottom of it and then tap it on. These 4 that I have right here and the Marth that I showed a moment ago, they're all brand new out of box, so they've got the full limit of taps available. However, the rest of my amiibos have been used over the last few years. I have 3 bins full of, 3 cabinet shelves that are full of amiibos. 2 shelves are specifically Smash compatible amiibos. The last shelf is non-compatible. Other than like being stickers and stuff like that. But yeah, the amiibo prices, they're going up. But if you get the RFID chips or the cards that people make for them instead, you don't have to worry about those prices. And I think that, back on the repro, which also blends in with the repros, not back on that, but blends in with that, it's also a matter of personal preference. Like for the amiibos, if it's not already a card, I don't want it as a card. I'd rather have the statue. I'd rather have to go out and buy RFID pucks to replace them. Because as stupid as that is, I would have to probably do that the other way anyways, but now I have a nifty little statue to remind me of stuff that I like. I know there's mobile apps too if you have Android phones. Android phones can do this. You can get a app that allows you to emulate the amiibos. The only thing you have to be careful with is if you have that, you have to make sure, if you're doing like an amiibo tournament like I am, you have to have that amiibo up when you tap it. Otherwise, it won't save the amiibo's data properly. And if you have as many as I do, or you want as many as I'm getting, it's probably better to just have the cards with the statues than to put all of that on your phone. After I end this live, I will actually probably make a quick YouTube short video showing off the updated collection along with some of the training. I've been at this for 2 hours with one 20-minute break. So I will try to get out of Viridian Forest within the next roughly 50 minutes. I forgot to catch it. Oh well, it's not like the forest isn't full of them. Yay, new attack for Rattata. Oh, quick attack with Rattata is always good. Hi, do you have a Pikachu? No, definitely don't. Ignore the thing following me. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. And victory. Will I swap? Yes, I will. Oh, sweet. Rattata needs to move down the list anyways. Do 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 do. But yeah, doing anything with amiibos, collecting, market stuff, you've always got to be careful. Got to know, make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. And make sure you know what it is you're exactly getting. I have one Pokemon game. I find it personally hilarious. I will never post it on here. It is a knockoff game. It and one other game I feel are in like the same category of like extremism for the way that like the humor is and stuff like that. So much so that I don't feel comfortable posting it on this channel, even though in my private life it's part of my personal humor. Some of the jokes even go too far for my personal life, which is a common thing I noted with what people had to say about that game. But out my face. When I got it, I knew it was going to be more adult, but I figured I could do it like as a After Dark game. I don't mind still playing this game for myself. I don't mind it at all. But I didn't. If I'd known better, if I had known better about what was going to show up specifically in that game, I would have waited on buying it and bought something else instead. Because at the time I was buying it, I was deliberately buying games for this, for streaming and stuff like that, and I thought this would be a hilarious game to play on stream, something with a little more adult humor, and it is not a little more adult humor. So, this is the same thing with amiibos. You might buy one that's already tapped out. It's already capped, and you're screwed. You now just have a statue. That usually the statues like this, I have one of Banjo and Kazooie, goes for maybe $12, maybe 15 with the current inflation. At the same time that I bought that for the $12, amiibos were going for 15 to 17. Because they did more than just sit there. Now you could pay $30, $35 and get a statue for an amiibo that's already tapped out. So you spent $35 on a statue that might have cost you $12 if you got it from something else. I know there's people also out there online, if you're interested and you have amiibos and you're like, but I don't want them to just look like this. There are people out there who will customize them. When I used to go to Frankensons all the time with some good buddies that I sadly don't talk to anymore, and I need to fix that. We used to go past this one booth, and they had like a bunch of preset ones. So it was like, oh, get Mario, Bowser, Luigi, and Peach as a combo set, zombified, undead. Stuff like that, where people will customize, they like carve into the statue, because this is it. This base holds the entirety of the data. It doesn't weave all the way through the statue, it's just that base. Yeah, no, same. Last time I went, I was still an active college student. No. Last time I went, I had just moved to... I was just talking about moving to Anaheim pre-COVID. Frankensons is a lot of fun. I didn't see that booth there the last time I was there, though, sadly. But yeah, that booth was there a lot when I was going the early days. What an amazing booth. I'm sure there's other people online who will do the same thing. I have no doubt in my mind that someone out there's like, yeah, I'll customize your amiibo. And I've debated that myself. Because then what I would do is basically, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna send you, I have a ton of amiibos I use for Smash. Been longer for you than it has been for me. But like getting my Smash amiibos and sending them off, because I have Gold Statue Mario, Silver Statue Mario, and regular Mario from Mario Party. I also have Smash Bros. Mario. I have Wedding Groom Mario. And Cat Mario. So 4 from Mario Party, Smash Bros., Super Mario Odyssey, and Cat Soup Mario. That's 7 Marios. If they all get tapped in at the same time when I'm randomly grabbing the amiibos, I don't remember which one's which. But I could send them off to this person, and that person could go, oh, okay, we'll turn this Mario into that Mario. So, like, one of my Marios... I've got 2 Mario bands as well from Universal. 2 of those from Universal. The standard one, and then I bought the gold edition one from Japan, only to find out a couple weeks after I bought it and got it imported for a pretty heavy fee that Universal Hollywood is going to be releasing that for their 1-year anniversary. I'm pretty mad at myself for not waiting, because then again, how was I supposed to know? But anyways, that's a total of 9 Marios, and there are 8 costumes. I have tried my best to name them unique enough that I can remember, such as the standard Mario Party Mario. I believe I just called him Partio. Pretty easy to remember. But not always is it that easy to work with, you know? I have a lot of Zeldas. One of them's named Oceana. That's Wind Waker Zelda. But I don't remember what I called Breath of the Wild Zelda versus Skyward Zelda versus Standard Zelda, necessarily. So, I've contemplated doing that for that, but I'm also, like, fighting this purist need to keep them looking the same way. Because it just, you know, the balancing and stuff like that. What I'll probably, in all honesty, end up doing with it is just I might end up just doing it one at a time, slowly changing them to make them look like their data in Smash. For the non-Smash amiibos, since they don't do anything outside of Smash, I'm probably not going to touch them. I do need to run some extra tests, or, you know, communicate online with people about which ones do absolutely work with Smash that involve characters from Smash, because I found out the Detective Pikachu amiibo, which, while I was not a big fan of the game, I did like the movie, and the amiibo itself looks really cool. It's not compatible with Smash Bros. You tap it on, it gives you the Detective Pikachu sticker, and that's the end of it. And I went, excuse me, no, it's a Pikachu. And the game didn't care. Wedding Mario and Cat Mario both get you stickers and act as amiibos in the game. Detective Pikachu does not. And that bugs me. Minor bug, but it still bugs me, because that was one of the main reasons I got it. That's another reason why I'm like, be careful with what you grab. Make sure first. One of the things that I am looking for are the Mario Sports cards, because they might work with the game. If they do, holy crap, that's a lot more that I'm going to have to deal with. If they don't, I'm not worried. Yeah, some of the amiibos that work with Smash also work outside of Smash. So make sure you have everything for the games that you want. That's why I'd say if Smash is your main goal, that's a lot of amiibos that work with Smash directly. If Smash is not your main goal, you don't got much to worry about. Um, but you know, you just gotta take it easy one at a time. Yeah, the random loot's always a great thing. Certain ones provide you with specific loot, like Wolf Link gives you a Wolf Battle Companion. Tapping Link on Epona gives you Epona as a mount. You cannot upgrade her, trade her, sell her, release her into the wild, or anything like that. Once you have her, you're stuck with her, so she permanently takes up stable space, but that's not bad. If you have Animal Crossing for the DS and tap Wolf Link, you can get Wolf Link as a villager. If you tap Ganondorf, you get Pig Ganon. If you tap Callie and Marie, you get them both as squirrels for some reason. And then if you tap any Inkling, you get a random squid that's just a fan of Splatoon. You can tap Epona and get her in the village. And I believe you can tap one of the amiibos. I don't remember which one it is, but it gives you Midley, I think. God, it's been a while since I played that game. That was a nice Animal Crossing. Yeah, it's nice to like get that stuff. Fire Emblem Engage has amiibo compatibility, but you can only tap up to 5 amiibos in a real world 24-hour period. So it's not like tap 5 amiibos, go to battle, tap 5 amiibos. It's tap 5 amiibos, wait 24 real world hours from that moment. So it's not like, oh, well, once it's the next morning, whatever. If you did it at 11:40 at night, you have to wait until 11:40 the next night to do it. And I was like, okay, but it gives you some stuff in the game, and if you tap Fire Emblem characters, you get bonus items. Kind of like what you're saying there with the Zelda games, or Zelda amiibos in Breath of the Wild. I don't know if they did it for the new one, but I wouldn't be surprised because it was popular. Alright, Pidgey, I know you're doing great, but you're almost to the limit. Yeah, there's a lot to do. If you haven't already, feel free to somewhere on this page and possibly down in my description below should be the link to my YouTube channel if you want to see more of the like side stuff that I do and catch up with a lot of the updates that I've done over the years, including seeing my desk in its old setup position, which is in the same spot, just rotated. Honestly, not missing too much with that. I've talked a lot about what I've been doing in those videos as well. If that's not something that interests you, hey, no worries. I'm not going to sit here and tell you do it or else. It's more of a, hey, if you want to, there it is. Metapod. Maybe. I forgot to swap the Pidgey again. But yeah, there's tons of stuff on my YouTube channel as well for you who are watching this now and anyone who watches it in the future. All right. Oh boy. That was a lot of finagling. I need me a Caterpie and a Weedle. And that Pidgeotto if we can find it. Yay! I can recover Rattata now. That was a town map, not a Pokeball. Potion! Man, I'm tired. But yeah, So yeah, this is the for those who are watching on YouTube in the future or actively now, my Twitch username is Dreamport1983 at this time. It may change in the future, or it will change in the future once I get things more squared away. And for those watching on Twitch, my username is DreamfinderJack on YouTube. Like I said, for those on Twitch watching now or in the future, while the video's up, down below and maybe over here or somewhere on my profile, you'll be able to see a link directly to YouTube. And I believe on YouTube I should have a link to the Twitch, but I don't know for sure. No. Yes. Because I need me a Caterpie. But yeah, so we will see what we can do. Alright. I've got about 30 minutes left on my personal time limit given my clock over here to get out of Viridian. Oh, wrong way. So I guess I will keep trying to find the Weedle, keep battling the traders, try to get that Pidgeotto if I can. I might do that on another video, actually, just to be on the safe side. Boom, paralyzed. If I didn't already have a Pidgey. But yeah, so we'll go from there. Do 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 do. That is a strong Caterpie. My dude, you could have had a very, very close to evolving Metapod right now. But somebody was like, nah, Wormy is the best. But yeah. It's funny, if I look back at my little mini feed that I have on here, I can see 8 years ago, starting 8 years ago, who all has subscribed to my my channel on YouTube, as well as who all's followed me and hosted me way, way back in the day. Going up to 2 years ago, and then starting 3 months ago is when everything started kicking off again. It's kind of trippy to see, like, there's these big blocks and then nothing, and then big blocks and then nothing. And realizing just how much of that is on me for not having streamed and done stuff like that. Excuse me. Oh, wait, yes. Swap to Rattata. Oh. But yeah, like I said, after this, I'm probably going to take a video of all the amiibos, including the ones that are training. Just show them off really quick. Showing off some of the updated amiibo stats that I have. Well, not stats, but the numbers that I have. I mentioned in a previous video as well at one point, at least I think I did, unless that video got deleted because of tech issues. I have a website that I track all the amiibos I have on and which ones I want. It's not the most comprehensive and like, oh, this is a high priority, this is low priority. It's either you have it boxed, have it unboxed, wish list it, don't have it, or don't want it. Kind of a thing. Actually, I don't even think there's a don't want it. It's just like you either do or you don't have it. Swap in Nidoran. Male. Which I've noticed, for some reason, every time I do have both Nidorans training together, the male takes longer to train than the female. Another Caterpie. Not sure why that is. Just seems to be that way. Do 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 do. One thing I did want to mention again, because I mentioned it in a couple other videos, my red, blue, and green are here. Each one is going to be played with the Pokemon on the cover, so when I play red, I'm going to pick Charmander. When I play blue, I'm going to pick Squirtle. When I play green, I'm going to pick Bulbasaur. And I'm going to trade the three of those amongst themselves to get the Pokedex data. I know in yellow version here, I can get given a Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and Charmander from 3 different locations throughout the game, so I'm not as worried about that. But this way I can also get all 3 of the Evolutions as well. I don't know what I'm going to pick for this one. I might go, since yellow is is based on Pikachu, which is electric, I might just do Jolteon for this one, Flareon in red, Vaporeon in blue, and then leave greens as just there. Nice. Because I think that's technically a bird attack, isn't it? Or a flying type? Right, it doesn't tell you in this game. But yeah, so... Gotcha. Because I know Peck is a flying type now, but I think in Gen 1, Peck was technically normal. But starting in Gen 2, it was flying. I do believe that Horn Attack is still normal. That one hasn't changed. I know some of the moves have changed over the years, as they've added in types. Like Bite, I think, started in this game, but wasn't a dark type move until Gen 2. Gust was the one that's normal turn flying, that's right. I knew it was one of those two. Which, between the two, I feel like Gust makes more sense to be flying automatically. Peck, I could see it going either way. Because not everything that flies has a beak, and you can peck with a beak. I don't know. I mean, it's Gen 1. They were still learning a lot about what they were doing. Trying to figure it all out. You know, that's how it goes. Alright. Look! It's tolerating me! Alright. I do think I'm going to call it here for now. Been playing the game itself for 2 hours and 25 minutes. Been live for 2 hours and 36 minutes. Oh, don't glitch out on me. You might have glitched out on me. If I lose everything, I'm going to be so sad. I'm going to pull this up really quick while I'm waiting and hoping. Yeah, it froze. You can hear it buzzing. Shoot. Alright, well that happens. If it doesn't have any of the data at all, I'll probably just restart it on my own again and play by myself for a while and then catch up and go from there. I really hope that that's not the case, though, and that this is just a momentary pause. because I have had a couple games where it just kind of acts like this and then ends up saving. But I appreciate everyone who's come in today, everybody who stuck around, everybody who came in and went, not for me, and then left. Everybody's welcome here. It's been a fun time. And I hope to see you guys all on one of my other videos or on either the YouTube or Twitch channel. I'm probably going to probably put something up somewhere to have some links as well on the screen. I'm working on a bunch of different stuff to try to make things more fun and efficient. But yeah, thank you everyone who's here and